Tire pressure monitors are great, but they won't tell you if your wheel bearing is failing.
Where are you going?
We're going to Buc-ee's. So much roomy RV parking. It's gonna be fantastic out, even in the rain. I'm so excited.
Don't forget about the fog.
Yeah, it's been seriously rainy for days. Seriously rainy for days.
But
we're going to Buc-ee's! Oh. Hello, YouTube. Hey. You're filming. A little heads up would be nice. Oh, Buc-ee's.
Do not block. Keep moving. Keep moving.
They have everything. Dog walking. They have deaf. They have ethanol free. So
F-250s, pulling F-250s.
So Dreamboat would be able to get his ethanol free, corn free gas. Oh.
Not a big fan of the corn gas.
Dreamboat isn't.
Oh no, that's...
I mean, the Tundra is fine, but Dreamboat really doesn't.
We're just gassing up at Buc-ee's, and this back wheel kind of kick everything to make sure I like the sound of it, and it has a slight rattle to it. Maybe like the wheel bearings loose, I'm not sure, but I'm gonna roll it onto a block now and see what happens. And forward easy. Hold up. So it looks like we've got an issue here. Little bang we're getting is play in the wheel bearing. So the drum is essentially loose on the brake. I'm gonna have to take off the lug nuts to get to the castle nut on the end of the axle. And in theory, I can just tighten the castle nut a little bit and it should solve this, but we'll see.
Well, there's no better place for this kind of thing than at Buc-ee's.
So I have removed the tire, and what I have here is a little bit of play in the drum. You can hear it rattle. And so what I'm gonna do is take off the grease cap, dust cap, and in there is a castle nut. And what I'm hoping is I can just tighten the castle nut a little bit and get rid of that play. Now you can over tighten the castle nut, seize up the bearing and destroy the bearing. And if it's too loose, you can also destroy the bearing. So I hope I've caught it in time, and all it needs is to be just tightened up slightly. It's a bit hard to see, but you can see that there's play.
Yeah,
right
I can
there.
hear it.
So this is a cotter pin. You can see why that's called a castle nut now. And it has a cotter pin that runs through the middle of it. If you got gloves, use them. This is a greasy mess if you ever have to do something like this. I'm gonna bend this straight and then slide it back out. What I'm seeing right now is that this castle nut is hand tight, and I'm hoping that just slightly tightening it takes the slop out of there. And just slightly tightening it to the next spot where I can get the cotter pin through should solve this problem. Now we've used the leveling blocks to do this. I'm really not excited about using them when it's wet out because they can be slippery on each other. But we're hitched to the truck, so we can't go forward and backward. I am not putting any kind of limbs underneath the trailer while I'm doing this. Maybe I could roll the spare tire under here just in case something goes wrong. But right now, this seems to be enough safety for the job that is required.
if we're tightening one, should we tighten the others? We've been in this situation before. Actually, this time last year, over the holidays.
Yeah. I don't think so, because you can hear the rattle in them. Even with the trailer sitting on the ground, you could hear, when you push on the tire, you could hear the rattle. And it was only in one. All right, so that's still spinning smooth. It doesn't have the rattle in it. We check for that rattle every time we stop. We feel the rims for heat, you know. Tire pressure monitors are great, but they won't tell you if your wheel bearing is failing. But checking your hubcap, your rim for heat will tell you if your wheel bearing is failing. So there's a mix of different ways to keep track of this. We always check every stop for gas. We walk around, check tires for loose, heat, etc.
Now you're putting the cotter pin back through.
Yeah, I'm happy with how that spins freely.
It doesn't knock anymore.
Doesn't knock anymore, but it spins freely. Now you can overdo the tightening. I think I already said that. You can overdo the tightening, and what you'll do is seize up the wheel bearing, cause a lot of extra drag.
Do we carry extra cotter pins?
We actually have an extra wheel bearing and I think a cotter pin. Yeah, good question on the cotter pin. I know we have an extra wheel bearing.
Okay. What's the goal here? To get it well inside so it doesn't scrape?
It's got to go all the way in. This loop goes all the way to here, and then you bend these back. Now, ideally you'd start with a new cotter pin, I think, every time if you weren't doing this in a parking lot, but I'm okay with it. Roughly bang this in with a hammer, but I don't want to hit the drum, so I'm going easy.
Well, we're not in a hurry. We have many days of travel ahead of us, so
I'm happy with that. I'll then just come back here and bend those
back across the front like you had them.
Back and over. Yep.
I think we should double check and make sure we have spare cotter pins.
Okay. Put that on the list of things.
There might be like a hardware Ace or AutoZone or something nearby where we can look into that.
For anybody who's really stuck with an issue like this and you need a wheel bearing, you need a cotter pin because you broke the one if you inspected, trailer places are just as likely as any kind of proper RV store to have it, so that's a good tip, I think.
What do you mean trailer places?
Any kind of utility trailer,
oh yeah,
work trailer, dump trailer, tow behind your truck trailers.
Yeah, construction.
This type of part may be universal, depending on what you've got.
Tap it in.
Okay. Hopefully if you're towing a trailer around, you know how to change a tire, at least with experience, or you know what to do first. But basically, with it still on the ground, you want to loosen the lug nuts. Then when you go to put them back on, you want to put them all on hand tight. To put the lug nuts back on, you want to approach it like a star pattern. It's easy with 5 lug. Now this is 6, but basically you want to tighten, 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 come back across, come back across. What that does is it keeps the wheel centered, and if you tighten one of them all the way to start, you might have the wheel not fully centered, and you wouldn't know it until you're driving down the road and it wobbles or whatnot.
Drop the trailer, so now there's tension on the tire, and you're going through and tightening the rest of the lug nuts.
I am. How would I know that it was tightened to the point where it was almost ready to break off if I didn't do it myself? The problem is we just had them up in the air and back down. We gotta like run them 100 yards, tighten the lugs, and check them again.
Well, let's do that.
So Shanna just made a quick loop. I'm gonna retry to snug those lug nuts just to make sure everybody's tight, but not hearing that clunk.
Ooh, be careful.
Slippery. I don't hear that rattle. I don't feel it being loose like I felt it before. So then I'm just checking the other side. I don't feel that looseness to the degree I felt the other one. So I think everybody's good. I am going to go tighten all the lug nuts just to be sure. Can I show you something? If you Ask mechanics how they feel about two-piece lug nuts. These are two-piece lug nuts, which means they're stainless over the top of steel. All the movement right there is in the stainless steel shell over the top of the lug nut. It's not actually loose, even though it looks like it's loose. They're terrible. I believe I've worked up an appetite. How about you?
I'm good.
Thinking about jerky, maybe some almonds.
Buc-ee's, if you're an RVer and you've never experienced a Buc-ee's and their epic snack department.
Spacious parking lots.
Spacious parking lot.
Nice grass dog walking area here.
They do have a nice dog walking area.
I'm rummaging stuff back in.
I can never get anything in and out of those without messing up your whole system.
System.
We'll call it a system.
Don't forget it's a system.
Is it though?
There's a system.
Uh-huh.
You see anarchy. I see a system.
Right. Oh yeah, look at your
Maybe a system of interlocking tangled objects, but it's a system. See? The door is closed.
Yeah, sure. Sure, honey.